Hi guys, Daphne here, and today is a sort of wrap-up, review-ish sort of thing for the Slay That series readathon that I just participated in like half a week ago because I'm late on this video. Also, I didn't finish all of my TBR, so I have no excuse, really. I mean, there was a bunch of stuff I had to do, but in reality, I had no excuse, so I didn't finish it. I did, however, read the first two books in the Grisha Trilogy. So, Siege and Storm and Shadow and Bone. This is the first book. This is the second book. And I thought they were pretty good. So these are by Leigh Bardugo. This is the third book, which I am officially 45 pages into. But I did finish these two on time and start this one. I've just been reading some other stuff at the moment that I'm going to finish first. For September, because in general it wasn't a very good reading month for me because school started and so I got really busy really fast and I'm having to relearning how to do time management, for goodness sakes. So I am not going to be doing a wrap-up for September, I'm just going to be doing a wrap-up for the Slay That series readathon. So I have my books and let's get started. If I'm pronouncing any of these words wrong, I'm really sorry. There's no pronunciation guide that I saw, and I'm not good at pronunciation out of books. So, first, for those of you who haven't read the first or all of the books in the Grisha Trilogy, the first book, Shadow and Bone, takes place in a land called Ravka, and it's completely different. It's not on anywhere on Earth. And this land is ruled by a king, but the people inside of it are divided into two sort of groups, categories. One of them are the Grisha, and the other ones are just basically everybody else. So the first group of people, the Grisha, they have like other powers, and some of them are elemental, and some of them are like just other stuff, you know, like summoners and things. They have all these different categories. And I had some problems with that a little bit, and I'll get a little bit into more of that later. There's the king, right? And then there's the Darkling, and he's kind of like the leader of the Grisha. And he's like ancient. Anyway, he's really old. So there's this girl, and I think she's a teenager. Her name is Alina, and she grew up as an orphan. Children are tested when they're little, like she was 8, and they get tested to see if they have powers, and she was labeled as not having powers, so she went and she grew up with her best friend, and his name is Mal, and they ended up joining the army, her as a map maker, and him as a soldier. And one day the entire military goes into the Fold, which is like this really dark, sort of evil, dangerous part of the land, and there's all these really kind of gross creatures inside of the Fold, and it's entirely dark. And I think it's growing. That's what it was, and it's endangering Ravka. And so they go in, and they get attacked by some of the vicious creatures in the Fold, and something happens, and Alina does something to save Mal's life, and things just go crazy from there. They find out, essentially, that she is Grisha. Something went wrong with her testing, and she is whisked away by the Darkling to go and train at the palace. I did enjoy these books. Kind of. I gave them 4 stars on Goodreads, but I might go back and change it now that I've had some time to think over it after reading the books and after having thought about them for a while, because I have some pretty solid issues with them. Number 1, I didn't really like any of the characters. Like, Alina and Mal, they just really started to annoy me after the while, especially the Darkling, and I have reasons for that too, but they all just really started to annoy me, and I don't even know why. I just couldn't stand them after a while, so hopefully I'll be able to get through the third book. 2, I needed more description. There's a pretty solid plot, there's a nice pretty map of Ravka in the beginning, and some of the things are described, but like the Fold, entirely mysterious. I have no idea what it's supposed to look like, and I think that's probably supposed to be the point, and I'm supposed to understand that, but I don't. And so I need more description about that. And I would really like more description about, like, the orders of the Grisha, right? Because they all have their distinct powers in their different groups within the Grisha, and I don't really know, like, what the difference between those are, and The hierarchy was explained a little bit, but I'm still having trouble, like, picturing that hierarchy. And so I think some description about how they live and, like, what their powers are would be nice, and also just about, like, the general population of Ravka, because I honestly have no idea. But more than anything, my main issue with these first two books was that the pacing was a little odd. Like, some parts were really slow and some parts really weren't. Like, there were huge sections that were just Alina's thoughts, and then there were other sections where there were big plot things happening, and I felt as if I needed to have picked up on some foreshadowing or some clues that would have helped me predict that what was going to happen, and I just didn't get them. Like, I don't even know if they weren't there or I missed them being distracted by something else, but things would just be added and I didn't know what was happening exactly, and it was very confusing. But there were a couple things that I really did like about these books, which led me to give it 4 stars. 3 things, actually. I'm just listing things off today. So first, the people aren't perfect, which is, I said I didn't like them, but I do like that they weren't perfect, which sometimes characters are portrayed as absolutely perfect and their flaws are perfect. These ones are not, which is nice, and they're very genuine people. And all of their actions kind of reflect that, and I really did like that about the book. 2, the world is gorgeous. I just wish I had more description about it. The map is a really pretty map, and it's pretty well done. It takes a lot to create this entire new world, and especially one that is so unique. And I just think that this one needed more description, that's about it. But I really love the world. And 3, I wanted to continue reading. That's the most important thing for me, is that I'm not so dragged down by things that I didn't like about the book that I didn't want to continue reading. I definitely wanted to continue reading. Despite my dislike of the characters and maybe some slow spots in the plot, I really just did want to continue on reading, which was the most important thing. So that's about it. Hopefully I'll be reading the 3rd book soon. Let's hope I can get through that one, and my want to continue and know what happens will keep on going throughout this 3rd book. And so maybe that one will be better. I hope Leigh Bardugo has tied the series up nicely, and I will get back to you when I read it. Probably not in a video, I'll probably just update my status on Goodreads, but that's about it in terms of that wrap-up. If you have read any of the books, or planning on reading any of the books in the series by Leigh Bardugo, tell me in the comments below. Also, if you've read the 3rd one and you think it was better or worse than the first 2, tell me that too. Bye! In other news, I am going to NerdCon tomorrow. I was about to say in 2 days. I'm so excited. I am so excited. I can't even handle it. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna see an author or some other, famous person in the world of books, and I'm just gonna, faint from fangirling so much. I can't even handle it.